So my name is Ourmie, CEO of CityJet, and CityJet is a regional airline with a hub located in London City Airport. My professional background, I started in the aviation industry 20-odd years ago, and after having some different experiences and after a master in aeronautics and an MBA, I started in the aviation industry with a maintenance department. It's quite unusual, being the only woman in the hangar. I think also the only woman having the opportunity to visit the hangar I was working in. And then moved to IT, so I also work for GDSs, Amadeus, and then moved more to the commercial side of the aviation industry. I took position in some region. First I was General Manager UK and Ireland for Air France and KLM, then moved to the USA, based in New York, for Air France KLM as a VP and General Manager USA. And then CEO of CityJet, of course. So CityJet is an award-winning regional airline. So we are flying point to point from London City Airport to 20 destinations in Western Europe. So its destination we reach in about 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. So it's very short, medium-haul routes. CityJet is a full-service airline, and our customers are expecting from us very seamless experience. So full service, you don't have to think of paying anything once you have your ticket. You have paid all your service on board. You don't have to pay for your bag too. So it's a high quality of service, excellent time performance, on-time performance. We have awards on on-time performance. We have a high level of reliability because it's a main expectation for our business travel. We also operate leisure destination during the summer, but also for the weekend, for the same customer or new customers that are willing to fly from London City Airport to other destinations. They expect to spend less time in queues. They expect to arrive not more than half an hour before the flight, to go directly in the flight, and just to enjoy the fantastic experience. So the evolution of our business, like any airline, we are expanding our network. So we are launching new destination, and we are launching not only new destination, but we are starting to fly to Germany. We are flying now to Münster on the 29th of October, from 29th of October, and then we will launch in January Nuremberg. So it's a new market for us. So that's first, you can extend the number of destinations from an airline perspective. Then for your customer, you try also to find for them new services. So we are developing a new website. So it will be a brand new homepage, website, user-friendly way to use also and to find our services from the 1st of November this year. We also launched a new fare structure, 1st of November 2012. And the fare structure is about flexibility. It's 3 levels of fares, and well, the fare are, you know, higher and higher, and the highest fare is the one that is the most flexible one. So it's all about the need of your customers. They give us a lot of feedback. We do many surveys. We want to know what they expect from us, what they would like to see as a solution. And they want transparency. They want to have a visibility of the content, what they pay. The travelers are more and more aware of what they want, and they want to understand what they are buying and what's a value for the price they are paying. So that's why we are just launching, to give this visibility and transparency. So trends for our market and the aviation industry are about technology. So CityJet is listening to these trends. That's why we launch all this app, all this new website, and also the relationship well, we want to create with our customers that is beyond the travel. So I think for us, travel is more becoming a lifestyle. And we like CityJet to be part of the lifestyle of our customers. So we are, working on a new campaign for CityJet for, the end of this year. And the new campaign will be moving towards lifestyle, because travel is no more something you do, aside. It's part of your life. So if you're close to lifestyle or customer, being business travel, full service airline, people will think about your company not only because you're delivering that basic good service, it's because they feel that they are close to the brand. So I think all this lifestyle on all what could be done, virtually on the web via application, improving your website, and the direct contact with the customer is a trend. The customer know what they want to buy. they have to fly from point A to point B. So the question is, that's what you have to deliver: on-time performance, reliability, but beyond that should be part of their life experience. Well, our customers are telling us that the marketplace is still a very difficult one, but they are positive. We are a business travel airline, so our customers are mostly people coming from the banking industry or for the insurance company based in Canary Wharf or around the city. So they see the industry much better than it was 2 or 3 years ago, of course, but still an industry that is trying to rebuild on solid foundations. So having said that, they think that there is an evolution and trend that should be closer to the customer, because after a crisis, it's a good opportunity to do many changes, and they ask us to be closer to them, to be able for them to reach our offer with less steps and really an easy reach of our products. So we're trying to do with the internet, with the social media. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook. We are the first airline to launch a Twitter concierge. And it means that we are not only providing for them services online, but if they really want to go further with hotels and some tips on some destination, we can do that. We are providing a new, we have an app, of course, because everybody should have an app, because if you don't have one, you're not really in. But we have also a music application. So people are able to download from iTunes on our application, so new trends of music, because we discover that our customers, when they are traveling, they are using a lot of their iPad, iPhone, and all the iSeries you want, but they also listen to music, because for them a way to relax during their travel. I think we are very, as CityJet, we are an Irish airline, so our authorities are the Irish authorities, and the CEO of the Irish authorities in Ireland is a fantastic gentleman with a great humor. And last time we had a presentation from him was in ERA, so it was the European Regional Airline Conference. He had a presentation and he started, I will explain to you the 5 reasons why you should not be in the airline industry, starting with all the challenges. So I think the airline industry has many challenges, not only because we are dealing with a very complicated chain of service. Not only because we don't control each step at all, being the airport, being the weather, being the ATC, being all the supplier, provider, and stakeholders that should, contribute to the success of a flight. So that's the basics. But when I started the industry, I discovered that from the beginning, if you don't have passion for the industry, it's better not to stay in this industry at all, because it's about 24 hours, 365 days. It never stops, because you are flying, all year long and, each day. So having said that, the challenges are the fuel rising, because it's about your cost, how you can control your cost. And some of your costs are impossible to control, you just have to adapt. So it's about capacity, flexibility of adaptation. So in my company each year, the first year we call that the change project. I think now what we know is that each year that we will have a change project, because if you stand still, if you don't see that change is something that you have to do every day in our industry, we discover new challenges, new cost perspective, new taxes, new charges, and you just have to make sure that you can be flexible. So as regional airline, we are not legacy carrier. We don't have this worldwide market. So if Europe is not going well, we are not going well. So we have just to manage the difficulty and try to find solution, work differently, use more technology, work also more like a team. In CityJet, we are a big family. We have employees based everywhere in Europe. We have more than 30 nationalities. So it's really a culture that is more and more about flexibility, working together and trying to anticipate as much as we can. But the reality is that you adapt to face all the challenges you have to face. Well, there is definitely the environment subject, and what we want as an industry to build together for the future. So I think as any CEO of the airline industry, you definitely have to work on this subject, work on how do you fly from point A to point B? How do you manage the weight you have on your flight? How do you also take this decision, if you have to take decision for your fleet? How this environmental dimension is important, not only today, but even more tomorrow. So that's something that I think any responsible person in the industry has to think about. It's a long process, so there are many political subjects to deal with, taxes, etc. But it's a real subject. So, having said that, you cannot, work only on this subject when you're running an airline. So the other subjects are more, about the trends and what are your customers looking for in the future. What are the trends of the travel and how to deal with that? And for me, it's technology. It's always difficult to give advice because people are very different. So people don't have always the same objective when they start a career, and it depends what your ambition is, what you want to do with your life. So also, I've been working and I'm still a very good coach, and she's always saying to me, it's not about what you want to do, it's about what you want to be, who you want to be. So who you want to be is something that you have to just identify and try to go in this direction. But I would give, I think one advice is that if you want to reach some senior position, you have to really make sure that in your career you're building the experience that you will need at some point. So in my situation, I was able to take really responsibility in different areas of the business, being technical experience, IT experience, but also operational experience. And that's very important because then you reach a position and you can talk to your team, and they see that not only you're interested, but you have even a light experience of their work. They feel that first you're interested, and second, they can have a real discussion with you. So I think that the relationship with your team is different, and you deepen this relationship by having this knowledge. Having said that, from an individual perspective, I think that anybody starting in an industry like this one is a huge industry, should really try to find a good mentor. I had 2 or 3 in my career. The third one is the one I have now. But by having a mentor, it gives you also some ways to be able to ask questions, somebody senior, because you have always many questions to ask, not only on your work, but also your balance work and life. And you need to have somebody to ask this question outside of your company. So that would be my advice. My advice, if you are a woman and you want to really work in the airline industry, first is you have to think about it first, because it's a very challenging one, and it will be very difficult for your life. Running an airline, for instance, and having a family in Paris is very difficult. You, as a woman, will always feel guilty because it's part of what you have to accept. But one thing, I've learned working with a very strong woman around me, if you try to be too nice, you will never get anywhere. So you need to really know where you want to go. And as a woman, people have to accept that you could be a strong woman. So it's not a problem for that. First, you can imagine, or you can notice by my accent that I'm not English, so I'm French. So I've been very lucky to live in Paris. And now I'm based between London and Dublin, and also been based in New York. Paris, for me, will always be one of the most beautiful cities in the world, not only because I'm French, because I think that each time I go back to Paris, where you're French and not living in France, you appreciate even more, Paris. But I'm not from Paris. I'm from south of France, a little village, a little town called Avignon. And that's also my region. So the region of my heart is where my parents live, so it's the south of France. But there is a city I've been living in that I really fell in love with, is New York. And if I have any opportunity, being for leisure or for work in the future, to go back to New York, I will. After that, for holidays, I must say that I spend a lot of time in New York, and for the time being, if I had to organize a new travel, I would like to go to Cambodia and to Angkor, because I've never been there, and I would like to visit the temples.